Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, where we celebrate resilience and growth of single parents. In today's episode, you'll meet Terri Lynn Murphy, an international author and transformational coach who turned unimaginable heartbreak into a spiritual awakening. You'll learn how to listen to your divine guidance, practice forgiveness, and find peace in the present moment. If you ever felt lost, her story will remind you that healing is always possible. Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, a podcast designed to inspire single parents. Here you'll find resources from self-care to finances to parenting and everything in between. Discover what it takes to thrive. Let the stories inspire you to what is possible. Before we start the next conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, The Gift Inside, a powerful guide for healing your body, mind, and soul. Reclaim your strengths and awaken your true potential. Whether you are navigating heartbreak or simply seeking deeper fulfillment, this book offers the tools to turn your struggles into triumphs. It is time to unlock the gift within you. Available now on Amazon, or you can check it out on my website www.irinashehovtsov.com. Guest Terri Lynn Murphy. She's an international best-selling author, motivational speaker, and transformational life coach with a passion for helping others create lasting happiness and fulfillment. With over 3 decades of experience as a trailblazer in the automotive industry, excelling in sales, sales management, corporate training, and career development, Terri knows what it means to lead, grow, and inspire. Terri's life took a profound turn after a powerful spiritual awakening where she experienced a soul-level connection and that transformed her path. Guided by divine inspirations, she penned her first book, Journey to My Soul, Following Divine Navigation, a heartfelt account of transformation and inner wisdom. Her second book, 10 Minutes to Happier You, Start Your Day in a Positive Way, quickly became an Amazon bestseller, helping readers embrace daily practices of positivity and mindfulness. And I met Terri recently as she was giving her speech at Columbia University, and I felt resonating. Yes, she was like telling my own story, so I invited her to this podcast. So welcome, Terri. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Irina. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So please share with us, how did you become a single parent and what challenges you faced along the way?
Well, it was a long time ago, but, unfortunately my marriage didn't last. It lasted long enough to have 2 sons, but when we first got divorced, they were 18 months and 3 years, okay? But 5 years later, my ex-husband decided to sell the business and move away, and he took the children with him due to a decision I made during the divorce. Now, my lawyer told me, if you don't fight now, you're not going to have a leg to stand on later, and you're going to have to be able to provide equal living situations for him. But everything was tied up in the business, so I knew my kids would be taken care of, and I thought I would be too. But when they moved, it was just devastating for me. But they moved 2 hours away, so at least I was still in their life, but not on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah. Oh, wow. And what helped you carry on?
What helped me carry on was the divine guidance. I would not have made it without. I just surrendered my life to God because I knew I didn't have the strength to get through it. I actually just wanted to die. I prayed for death, but unfortunately that didn't work. Or I should say fortunately, because I'm very grateful now. But it was a hell. To me, it was a true hell I lived in for 10 years, being separated from my kids.
Totally. What lessons did you learn as a result of that experience?
So much. But what I learned is to listen to divine guidance. We all have a human mind and a divine mind, and if you can lower the volume on your human mind long enough to get the divine guidance, life just goes so much smoother and happier.
If somebody listening right now who is struggling, what kind of advice would you share with them? How would they connect to the divine if, let's say, all they know is the human chatter all the time?
Mm-hmm. Well, it takes practice. But all it takes is, I would just tell them to start by sitting quietly and asking yourself the question, am I aware? Are you aware that you have a higher power? Are you aware? You get little glimpses of it, and then the more glimpses you get, the more it expands. Once you know what that connection is, there's breathing exercises that you can do. Breathe in and out slowly, make the exhale longer than the inhale, and just connect that way. Meditation is a great place to start, but I know many people are just like, I can't meditate. But all I can say is anything worthwhile doing is worth doing poorly in the beginning.
True. Yeah. What is one kind of practice that you cannot live without on your day-to-day basis?
For me, meditation. And if, normally I did a 10-year program where I did an hour a day listening to headphones. So I used to do an hour every day. Now I do a minimum of 20 minutes, but usually it's 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. How did your career change as a result of becoming a single parent?
Well, that's when I started my career in the automotive business.
So you continue.
That helped me a lot because it kept me busy. Sales, long hours, long days, but I made the decision when my children moved away that I needed to be happy, and I wanted them to have a happy mother, and I needed to be happy to survive. So I learned a lot of tools along the way, how to keep a positive mindset, and I had to keep myself focused in the present moment, because if my mind started wondering, what are they doing, where are they, blah 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 blah, I would just go down the drain. So that really taught me mindfulness and living in the present moment, which when you're living in the present moment, it's the only moment that the spirit can guide you, is in the present moment. If you're in the past or in thinking about the future, you're not.
You're right.
Yeah.
The only, I call it, for a mind also, there is no past, there is no future, everything is right here, right now.
Yes.
And like you said, when we are not here, we are not open to guidance. We are not. I think as we grow older, we forget how to be like kids. When they play, they are so in it. It's like right in front of them. They're not thinking, oh, I have to go pay the bills, or what did I say yesterday? I had this argument with somebody and it's on my mind. They're so involved in the play. They're like active there. And I think as adults, we lose that ability, and such an important way of living. It makes life beautiful. And if we are, I think, more present, we're not going to be suffering so much. We're only suffering, how they say, life is going to throw things at us, but it is up to us. Suffering is always optional. Because
That's right.
We get to decide to keep something alive that was not serving us in the past. It's up to us.
And remain as children. I think that's in the Bible somewhere. Remain as children, because you're right. Children are always in the present moment. They're not worried about the future. You live a better life, and if you can just live with acceptance, accept what comes instead of resisting it, because resistance also causes the suffering.
Yeah, totally. What inspired you to write your books?
Well, my first book was divinely guided. I got a message, you're going to write a book about your life. And I took a couple writing courses, and every time I would sit down to write, I couldn't get to these hard emotions, because years ago, to live happy, I had to lock down my emotions, and I lived detached from my emotions. But through meditation, I had this cathartic release, and all of a sudden the writing started to flow. So it was divinely guided. And then I had the experience of seeing my own soul, which just was breathtaking. And
how did that come about?
I was going through a very difficult time writing, because all these emotions now were coming up after this cathartic release. My son had a bad episode with his wife, and she ended up in the hospital. He lived about an hour away from me at the time, and I wasn't able to get to him because we had a blizzard here in Pennsylvania, and that gave me a lot of emotional pain. So I couldn't sleep. I sat at the computer and I wrote about all these hard, difficult feelings that I had locked down for so many years, and my body was just screaming at me to stop, because spent 25 years holding these emotions down. And then I also had tripped and wrenched my back and neck. So I was in physical pain, emotional pain, and then I was writing about my past pain. And after so many hours, I just couldn't take the pain anymore, and I took a break, soaked in a hot bath, wrapped myself in a warm blanket and sat down to meditate. And when I opened my eyes, in the mirror across from me, I saw my soul leaning over me, comforting me. And it was just beautiful. It's like I always believed I had a soul, but when you see it, that it's a real entity, it didn't have physical, but it was luminous, I guess you would call it. And then we looked directly at each other for a few seconds, and it retracted into the area of my heart. And I just never looked at life the same. It's like we are divine beings having a human experience, and we too often forget that.
Yeah, we get bogged down by life and
Yes.
so focused on those micro things, the arguments, but then if you go and look at 30,000 foot view on your life, is it worth fighting about? Is it does it even matter? Incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
And your second book, the 10 Minutes to Happier You, how did that come about?
That came about during lockdown. Okay, so I have a Facebook page, and every day I write what's called a fortune cookie, because I was given the name fortune cookie from one of the jobs I had where everybody had a nickname, and I was always pointing out the positive. And one day something bad happened, and one of my coworkers turned to me and said, "Okay, fortune cookie, let's see you put a positive spin on this one." And when he gave me that nickname, that's what ignited in me the desire to write. And that's when I started doing positive sayings. I would email them out to my sales team, past sales team. And so eventually it became the fortune cookie on Facebook. So also on my website, I had an exercise called 10 Minutes to a Happier You that I would give away for people that signed up for my website. And so I just started putting it together with the exercise and with the daily positive thoughts. So the whole idea of the book is every morning you get up, you do the exercise, which helps you slow your mind down, and you smile and you do these stretches and everything, and then you sit down and you put some positive thoughts in. So you just open the book to any random page and you get the message that was meant for you that day.
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. I wrote, how you call it? It was a compilation book called Total Health, and I wrote some practice called 10 Minutes of Joy. Mine was about doing something that sets your soul on fire every day for 10 minutes or more. Doesn't matter, morning, afternoon, whenever you have time, but the whole idea, because I believe our health is not just physical and mental, but we gotta practice a happiness muscle every day.
Yeah.
Just like we like to brush our teeth for good oral health, we gotta practice happiness.
Right, and it's difficult to have sustained happiness if you're not feeding all three parts.
Right.
Your mind, your body, reading is important, I feel.
Yeah.
And many people, once they're done school, they just don't want to read anymore. But
True.
there's always Audible. I'm hooked on Audible.
Awesome. What I call it? Is there any book that you can recommend that inspired your journey, or that was influential in your life?
There are so many. One of my favorites is Rhonda Byrne's The Power. That came to me at a really great time, and it just talks about gratitude. And when I look back at my life, I realized gratitude is what got me through those hard days. I just had to find something in the present moment to be grateful for. So that's one. But there's another book out there called The Shack, which is really a great book for especially divorced people, where you have a lot of anger. It's all about forgiveness, because when we carry anger and hate around in us, we're only hurting ourselves. It's not doing anything to the other person.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
They say it's like drinking poison hoping the other person dies.
That's right. I love the forgiveness is also very, very important, just like you said. And it is not about letting the other person off the hook. You don't even have to tell them, but it's what you do for yourself, for your mental health, and not carrying the baggage of all this past into the present and creating the same thing over and over again and living in that cycle.
Exactly.
What do you think is the most important trait to instill in a child?
Oh, I think getting them to talk about their feelings and identify their feelings. Because so many times we repress them, or we don't allow, I think I heard you say it, children should be seen and not heard. I grew up with that mentality, and I think children should be heard, and they need to be taught to identify what this feeling is, and that their feelings aren't them, and that they can control, instead of saying, I am angry, say, I'm feeling angry. Because when you say, I'm angry, you're anchoring yourself in that anger. But when you say, I feel angry, well, now you have the power to change that.
That's right. Yeah, it's so true. What is your superpower if you had to pick one?
Well, my superpower is training and inspiring. Yeah, I was a corporate trainer for many years teaching sales, but I always incorporated teaching about the spiritual and that. So I would say that's my superpower.
Love it. Beautiful. Thank you. Are there any fun projects you're working on that you like to share?
I'm working on a new book. Selling cars is fun and easy, and other life lessons. So I'm halfway through that, and it's given me something to do. And
Love it.
I'm also part of the Wellness Universe, and I am working on a project. I'm just starting to work on a project that I'll be running a training class on there.
Awesome. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
I think so. I think we covered a lot. But yeah, I would just share with people to feed all three parts of yourself.
Yeah, you're so right. Because I believe we are multidimensional beings, and we're not just, this physical, but there is mental, there is spiritual, there is emotional health that we gotta maintain. And before we can be anything for others, we have to show up for ourselves, who we are, and charge our own batteries. Yep. So thank you. If people would like to connect and learn more about you, where would they go?
They could go to my website. It's the best place to connect with me. My Facebook link, my LinkedIn is there, and it is www.thinkhappybehappy.com.
Awesome. I love it. We'll include everything in episode notes. It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Irina.